Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome back to the D3 Audible Cheat Sheets. This episode continues with Australia and will cover New South Wales and Tasmania. New South Wales sits on Australia's east coast and is the country's most populous state, anchored by Sydney. Wine production here has expanded rapidly since the 1980s, making it Australia's second largest producer by volume. But the state's importance in the exam lies less in scale and more in contrast. The defining feature of New South Wales is climatic division. Humid, subtropical coastal conditions to the east, and hot, dry continental conditions inland, with altitude acting as a crucial moderator where vineyards climb the slopes of the Great Dividing Range. This structural split explains why styles, risks, and viticultural responses differ so sharply within one state. North of Sydney, the Pacific coast experiences a subtropical climate with moderate to high temperatures, high humidity, and rainfall that falls throughout the year but often erratically. These conditions reach their most extreme expression in the Hunter Valley, Australia's oldest wine region and its most climatically challenging. By contrast, most of the state's other notable wine regions sit inland, protected from tropical weather systems by the Great Dividing Range. Here, the climate is predominantly continental, often very hot and dry, particularly in the Big Rivers zone that includes Riverina, while in the central ranges and southern New South Wales zones, altitude provides critical cooling and creates wide diurnal ranges that preserve acidity. The Hunter Valley zone lies around 200 kilometers north of Sydney and contains a single region, Hunter, with plantings exceeding 2,600 hectares. Although there are three official sub-regions, the region is more commonly divided unofficially into Lower Hunter and Upper Hunter, a distinction that matters because proximity to the coast moderates temperatures and disease pressure. At a latitude of 32 to 33 degrees south, the climate is close to tropical. Summer daytime temperatures regularly exceed 30 degrees Celsius. Yet, nights are relatively cool, creating daily temperature swings that influence ripening pace. Intense sunlight at this low latitude accelerates sugar accumulation, while afternoon cloud cover can offer partial relief from heat stress. Lower Hunter sits closer to the coast and benefits from sea breezes, making it slightly cooler than Upper Hunter. The landscape consists of gently undulating hills at low altitude, with soils ranging from sandy loams to clay loams, often over a clay base. Rainfall is concentrated during the growing season, averaging around 500 mm, and combined with high humidity, this creates severe fungal disease pressure. The same rainfall pattern means irrigation is rarely required except in the driest years. Crucially, Hunter lies east of the Great Dividing Range and therefore lacks protection from late summer tropical storms that can sweep down the Pacific coast. Early warmth leads to early ripening, but the risk of harvest time storms means Hunter is often the first region in Australia to begin and finish harvest, a logistical and stylistic pressure that shapes picking decisions. White and black varieties are planted in roughly equal proportions, but Hunter's global reputation rests on its singular expression of Semillon. Hunter Semillon is dry, light bodied, high in acidity, and strikingly low in alcohol, typically 10 to 11%. This style is a direct response to climate risk. Grapes are picked early to avoid storm damage and excessive sugar accumulation. Gentle pressing without skin contact limits phenolic extraction, preserving delicacy. Fermentation takes place at moderate temperatures in stainless steel, and wines are bottled soon after with virtually no oak influence. In youth, the wines can appear neutral, showing subtle citrus, but their structural spine, low alcohol, and high acidity gives them extraordinary longevity. With bottle aging, often over decades, they develop pronounced aromas of toast, honey, and hay. Many of the highest quality examples are deliberately released only after at least 5 years of bottle age. These wines are typically good to outstanding and mid to premium priced, with producers such as Tyrrell's and Mount Pleasant setting the benchmark. Chardonnay is also widely produced in the Hunter Valley and spans a wide stylistic range. Cooler sites or earlier picking yield wines with medium body and higher acidity, while warmer sites and later harvesting produce riper, full bodied wines with lower acidity. Both oaked and unoaked styles exist, reflecting site choice rather than a single regional signature. Red wine production focuses primarily on Shiraz. Hunter Shiraz is typically medium bodied with medium to high alcohol, red and black fruit characters, and spicy notes. Oak maturation is common, but usually in large barrels or increasingly in foedras, a deliberate choice to avoid overwhelming fruit in a region where finesse rather than power defines quality. Moving inland, the Central Ranges zone runs along the western side of the Great Dividing Range and includes Mudgee, Orange, and Cowra. Although Mudgee lies geographically close to Hunter, the climates differ markedly. The mountain range offers protection from tropical storms, reducing rainfall at harvest, and vineyards sit at altitude, delaying ripening. As a result, harvest in the central ranges can occur up to a month later than in Hunter. The climate is continental, but altitude moderates temperatures, producing wide diurnal ranges. Intense sunshine ensures full phenolic ripeness, while cool nights preserve acidity. However, altitude brings frost risk in spring, making site selection critical, and dry, late summers means irrigation is often necessary. Orange is the most distinctive of the three regions and has built a strong reputation over the past 2 decades, largely through small, quality focused producers. Vineyards are planted on the slopes of Mount Canobolas, an ancient volcano, mainly between 600 and 900 meters, with some higher still. These elevations create cool conditions, while volcanic basalt soils, along with clay loam and shallow gravel, influence drainage and vigor. Wind exposure helps reduce frost risk but can disrupt fruit set. Black varieties are planted on lower, warmer slopes, and up to 60% of the crush in 2022. Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon produce medium bodied wines with medium alcohol. Shiraz showing spicy red fruit, and Cabernet Sauvignon showing blackcurrant and earthy tones. Higher, cooler sites are devoted to whites. Chardonnay dominates, producing wines with high acidity, medium body, and stone fruit and citrus flavors. Malolactic conversion is often used to soften acidity, and top examples show subtle oak and aging potential. Sauvignon Blanc can reach high potential with tropical fruit and high acidity, and Pinot Gris plantings are increasing. Overall, orange wines tend to be good to very good and mid priced, with a small number of premium examples. Mudgee to the north and Cowra to the south sit at lower altitudes and are therefore warmer. Black varieties dominate in Mudgee, while Chardonnay leads in Cowra. Wines from both regions show riper fruit profiles than those from cooler orange, a clear illustration of altitude's role in shaping style. Further south, the southern New South Wales zone stretches from just south of Sydney to the Victorian border. Sheltered by hills and the snowy mountains, the zone has a continental climate, with altitude again acting as the key moderating factor. Canberra district is the most important region within southern New South Wales. Although administratively part of the Australian Capital Territory, almost all vineyards lie in New South Wales and are treated as such. Vineyards sit between 500 and 850 meters, creating warm days, cool nights, and a wide diurnal range. Intense sunlight aids ripening, while altitude preserves acidity. Cold winters and springs bring frost risk, demanding careful site selection. Summers are relatively dry, requiring irrigation, though autumn rain can complicate harvest. Shiraz dominates plantings and expresses the region's climatic advantages clearly. Warm days and sunlight produce deep color and ripe black cherry flavors, while cool nights preserve acidity and allow tannins to ripen fully. The result is wines with high acidity, ripe tannins, and depth, often blended with Viognier. These wines are typically good to outstanding and mid to premium priced, with producers such as Ravensworth exemplifying the style. Riesling is the most important white variety, producing dry wines with high acidity and delicate floral and citrus notes, often at very good to outstanding quality. Hilltops and Tumbarumba are increasingly recognized subregions within southern New South Wales. Both sit at altitude and share continental conditions with warm days and cool nights. Hilltops focuses on Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Chardonnay, while Tumbarumba is cooler and specializes in Pinot Noir and Chardonnay for still and sparkling wines, showing how small climatic shifts drive varietal suitability. Tasmania, separated from the mainland by the Bass Strait and lying 250 kilometers south, completes the picture of New South Wales' southern neighbour but is critical for contrast. With just 1,700 hectares under vine and contributing less than 1% of Australia's total wine volume, Tasmania is nonetheless a key source of premium priced wines. Although sparkling wine defines its reputation, still wines account for 60% of production. Tasmania's cool climate is shaped by its latitude at 41 to 43 degrees south and prevailing westerly winds from the Southern Ocean. Rainfall is high, especially on the west coast, but most vineyards lie in the east where mountains provide shelter. While Tasmania is a single GI, informal regions such as Coal River Valley, Tomar Valley, and Piper's River reflect meaningful climatic and topographical differences. Southern Tasmania is cooler due to latitude, but longer daylight hours in summer aid ripening. North and east facing sites are favored to maximize sunlight. The southeast is drier and may require irrigation, while the north and west experience higher growing season rainfall of up to 350 mm and greater fungal disease pressure. Frost risk is significant, and frost fans or sprinklers are commonly used. Pinot Noir and Chardonnay dominate plantings, accounting for 48 and 25% of the 2022 crush. Both are used for sparkling and still wines. Tasmanian Pinot Noir is typically light to medium bodied, with medium plus to high acidity, medium alcohol, and strawberry and cherry aromas, though warmer sites yield riper styles. Chardonnay is medium bodied with naturally high acidity and flavors of apple, white peach, and pear. Full malolactic conversion is common to soften acidity, and top wines are almost always barrel fermented for texture and oak integration, with maturation in mostly old oak or a small proportion of new to preserve delicacy. Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, and Pinot Gris also perform well, while Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and even Shiraz appear in warmer pockets. Strong domestic demand, tourism, and direct to consumer sales dominate with limited exports. Taken together, New South Wales and Tasmania illustrate how climate exposure, altitude, and latitude interact to shape wine style, risk, and price. From Hunter's fragile, early picked Semillon to Tasmania's precision driven, cool climate wines, these regions reward candidates who link environment to decisions, decisions to style, and style to commercial outcome. I do hope this helps with your prep. This completes New South Wales and Tasmania, and we'll conclude with Australia in our final episode on Western Australia. I'll see you then.